All right, it's that time of the year. It's the Cup Series chase beginning now. Oh boy, I regret doing these videos every goddamn year because this chase format doesn't fucking belong in motorsports. But we do it every year because fuck my life. But yeah, I'm wondering how the best driver this season gets fucked over in the chase this year. So let's go through it. We're going to go through it each round by round, and we're going to take a look at all 16 drivers. And of course, the chase, it's definitely not going away anytime soon, especially since that documentary, that NASCAR Full Speed documentary, is coming back with a second season. Maybe, since a lot of teams are probably not going to take part of it without a new charter deal in place. Because, of course, I should also mention, we're also going into the chase this year without a new charter deal in place for 2025 onward, because of that new TV deal coming in 2025. But anyway, enough of that talk. Let's just go ahead. Let's talk about the 16 drivers in the chase this year. So we're going to go through each of them individually, and yeah, let's go through it. So, first off, Kyle Larson. Easily has been a very dominant driver, but very hit or miss. Like, he's very boom or bust. Like, one moment he's contending for the win, has the fastest car. Next moment, he's pancaking it into the wall and taking shots at Max Verstappen. Larson, it's been very fast this year, but he just has not had the consistency. Very inconsistent. Larson is easily the biggest boom or bust driver entering the chase this year. He's either going to go to the Final Four, or he's going to be out pretty early in the chase. And that may play a factor, though, considering now we have 2 super speedway races in the chase, spoiler alert. And Larson has shitty luck on super speedways. So, yeah. But yeah, I think Larson goes boom, and I think he will have a deep run in the chase. He's one of the favorites for the title this year. The crazy thing about the Larson is, Larson 100% would have won the regular season title had he not missed the Coke 600 because of Mother Nature ruining his attempt at the Charlotte Indy Double. Because I think in that Coke 600 alone, I think Larson 100% could have made up at least 1 point in that race. 100%. But yeah, anyway. Next up, Christopher Bell. Bell had a couple wins early on. At one point in, June, he was pretty fast at a lot of tracks, a lot of most laps at a lot of places. Looked like a pretty fast car. It looked like maybe Bell was getting hot at the right time, but Bell's kind of cooled off a bit. Bell just seems pretty inconsistent. He's kind of like Larson in a way. Fast car, but inconsistent. One moment he's up front, next moment he's behind the wall. Just needs to get some consistency. I think like Larson, Bell is easily boom or bust coming into the chase. He either goes deep or he'll be out a lot earlier than some people may think. Next up, Tyler Reddick, easily one of the most consistent drivers in the chase this year. As Reddick is probably one of the hottest drivers going in with some of the momentum he's had with the consistency if you take Daytona out. And you take out what happened in the Southern 500 when he shit his pants during the race and trying to do his best Tony Stewart Watkins Glen 2004 impersonation. Oof, it's been a while since we had someone shit their pants in the fucking car. All I say is I feel bad for whoever at 2311 has to clean that car out on Monday, because dear God, that thing will smell like shit 100%. Anyway, enough with the shit jokes. Back to Reddick, as obviously Reddick's season this year has been the furthest thing from shit. Outside of that, Reddick probably should have a lot more than 2 wins this year. Just he's had a lot of races where he's been fast, but has been unable to seal the deal in a lot of races. He did get the win at Michigan near the end a couple weeks ago to seal the deal, and finally sealing the deal in a race that wasn't a super speedway. Just very consistent this year, and I will honestly watch out for Reddick. I think Reddick's starting to get hot at the right time. And who knows, maybe this is the year Reddick can put it together. Is this the year he finally wins a title? We'll have to see. Next up, William Byron, the rightful champion of 2023 last year, back in the chase. And I'm honestly not sure what to think of Byron. The first half of the regular season, Byron looked like the man to beat. Started the year off winning the 500. Then he got that win at Coda, and then got the win at Martinsville on HMS's 40-year anniversary with the HMS employees taking over an entire section at Martinsville in Turn 2. And really, since that Martinsville win, Byron hasn't really done anything. I mean, the second half of the year, dear God, Byron has been pretty bad the second half of the year. Like, Byron was really good the first half of the year, but the second half of the year, he's been very inconsistent. Now the inconsistency, it's very hard to tell if that's actually the team themselves, or if the 24 team was just sandbagging the whole second half of the regular season and treating a lot of the second half races as just test and tune-up sessions for the chase. Very hard to tell. I mean, that was pretty much the case in 2022 when Byron looked god-awful, and then in the chase he turned the Jets on and ran pretty well, just fell short of making the Final Four. So who knows, maybe Byron is just playing possum right now. We'll find out at Watkins Glen, because Atlanta's not really a good place to tell that one. But we'll find out if Byron's playing possum or if that 24 team struggles continue on in the chase and their inconsistencies. Next up, Ryan Blaney. And to be honest about Blaney, he's been kind of the same as last year, a little bit better. I mean, he does have 2 wins going into the chase. He even finally had a race where he led over 200 laps in a race. What's this? Ryan Blaney can lead over 200 laps in a race and win? Despite his history of being dog shit in races where he leads 100 plus laps in, Blaney's undefeated when he leads 200 plus laps in a race. Damn, the irony there. Yeah, and then Blaney had a win at Pocono, and that's about it. You know, mainly outside the short track, you know, just a big track, and honestly, it's just the same as last year for Blaney. But we all saw last year, Blaney was pretty mediocre in the chase the first 7 races, but the last 3 races was when Blaney turned it up with those top 2, top 3s out the ass. But who knows, does Blaney have another run like that left in him to maybe go get a championship, get a second title, and show how bullshit this format is and how broken it is when it rewards mediocrity and fucks over the best driver throughout the season? Next up, Denny Hamlin. At year 19, still looking for that first Cup Series title. I mean, Denny Hamlin, he looked like a guy to beat in the first half of the regular season as well, as Hamlin had 3 wins right out the gate, you know, winning that shit show race at Bristol with the Goodyear tire debacle. Then had that controversial win at Richmond when he jumped the restart. But hey, Dover was pretty legit, that's for sure. And really, Hamlin, he's just been pretty hit or miss the whole second half of the year. Honestly, he should probably have a lot more than 3 wins. But Hamlin's team just has completely shot themselves in the foot. And all I say to Hamlin is, Denny, you're not supposed to be fucking choking until the 3rd round of the chase, man. Why are you choking so early? You're supposed to, like October isn't supposed to be done in fucking July. But who knows, maybe Hamlin's choking in June and July means that he finally has a deep run. And who knows, could this be the year Hamlin finally wins that title that's long eluded him? And then Hamlin said that this was his year at Kansas. Never mind, when will he learn? Hamlin will probably have a deep run and then fall short once again. Or maybe could it truly be Hamlin's year, but in a way nobody expects. Next up, we have Chase Elliott. As Chase Elliott is really trying to do his best Matt Kenseth 2003 impersonation. He only has 1 win this year, and that was at Texas. I mean, it's Texas. But hey, and Chase Elliott got a win in the Hooters car. That ended up being the last race in the Hooters car. And then we have the HMS Hooters lawsuit debacle we're not going to talk about. But yeah, other than that win, Elliott just hasn't had the speed all year. He hasn't even led the most laps in a race this year. Just has really lacked race winning speed throughout the year. Just been consistently up there because he's getting top 5, top 10 finishes out the ass. But Elliott, Chase. When are people going to learn that Matt Kenseth 2003 type seasons don't fucking work under this format? It will not fucking happen. I will put money on that Elliott, that a 2003 type season, Kenseth 2003 type season will not result in a championship. All I say to Chase Elliott is you better be putting some speed on in the chase. Because if not, I think that mediocrity is going to come back to cost him. Especially since Elliott has a big lack of bonus points coming in to the chase. Next up, Brad Keselowski. So, Brad Keselowski can finally win races again as he won a race at Darlington and finally got his first one as an owner-driver for RFK. Holy shit, Keselowski wasn't a product of Penske Racing. Well, I'll be damned. But I mean, Keselowski, he looked like a championship contender pretty early on in the year because from like Texas to Gateway, he was getting like top 2, top 3 finishes out the ass at a lot of different tracks. Looked pretty good. And then Sonoma on, he's just been pretty very hit or miss. Like, he gets a top 10 here or there. Like, I think part of it also is RFK struggling and the Ford team struggling as a whole after Penske got their shit together and caught up. But, you know, hey, if Keselowski can find that early season form that he had from Texas to the Gateway, I think Keselowski is easily one of the biggest dark horse sleepers in the chase this year. All I say to everyone is don't sleep on Brad Keselowski. I think he's going to go a lot deeper in the chase than some people may think. Next up, this asshole, Logano. So yeah, Logano has been pretty dog shit this year. And that's pretty surprising he's been dog shit this year, considering that this is an even number year. And we all know Logano is always a title contender on even number years. Like, his only win this year was a race he shouldn't have even won, because his only win was that 5 overtime shit show at Nashville, where he somehow made his fuel tanks last as he somehow saved at the pump. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but yeah. And really, outside that win, Logano really hasn't done anything. He's been pretty mediocre this season. Like, easily the number 2 driver at Penske. But who knows? Maybe Logano pulls another deep run out of his ass, since after all, it is an even number year. And we all know Logano always makes the Final Four on even number years no matter what. I mean, every even number year we've run this bullshit chase format under, Logano has always made the Final Four. And all I say is, if Logano somehow bullshits his way in the Final Four this year, God help us all. Next up, Austin Cindric. Now we're slowly going to be starting to get into some drivers that are only in because they got to win. Cindric is one of them because Cindric has been ass all year. Like, let's be honest, Cindric has no business being anywhere near the chase. He's been pretty bad all year. Like, only reason Cindric got that win at Gateway was because of Ryan Blaney and the 12 team missed. Because the 12 team forgetting to tell Blaney he was a lap short on fuel as Ryan Blaney ran out coming to the white flag. I mean, I think... And then Cindric just happened to be in the right place at the right time to capitalize on Blaney's misfortunes. Like, if the 12 team actually told Blaney he was short on fuel and needed to save at the pump, Cindric wouldn't even fucking be here right now. Because Cindric's been ass. Like, he's only had, 3, 4 top 10s this year? And his average finish is, below 20. It's like, seriously, how the fuck is that acceptable for a championship contender? Like, Cindric easily screams first round elimination. Not even a debate. But yeah, expectations for Cindric are pretty low. Next up, we have Daniel Suarez. Suarez, he had that win early in the year in Atlanta, the 3-wide photo finish that officially made icy for its career. And then what has Suarez done really after that? Pretty much next to nothing. Like, Suarez has been inconsistent as hell all year. Like, out of the 4 drivers that have no business being in the chase that only got in because they got a win at the right time, Suarez has been the best of those 4. But considering how low that bar is, that's not really a high bar to clear. Well, Suarez or another guy we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, Suarez has been pretty inconsistent. Like, my expectations for him aren't that high. I think he's another first-round boot. Speaking of boots, we have next Alex Bowman. as Bowman is back in the chase after missing late last year. As Bowman, he got a win on a road course, winning at Chicago. So yeah, Bowman can win on road courses now. And I mean, Bowman has been pretty consistent for much of the season up to the win in Chicago. Then after he got that win in Chicago, he really has been pretty inconsistent since then. It seems like leading up to Chicago, he was doing everything he can to make his case to stay in that 48 car since he's been on the hot seat all season. And once he got that win and it looked like maybe his job security was safe, he just went back to being mediocre. I mean, that's just the Alex Bowman experience. It's why he's the NASCAR's version of Kirk Cousins. Always puts up respectable numbers, but nobody takes him serious when it matters the most. And there are questions coming in the chase that Bowman's job security may not be safe, as he might still be on the hot seat in entering the chase this year. I mean, the only way I think Bowman stays in this seat is if he has a deep run in the chase. I mean, Bowman could do it, though, but we all know Bowman's main kryptonite in the chase is the second round, as Bowman's only made it past the second round once in his career. Every other time he's been in a chase, he's always been a second round elimination. Next up, Chase Briscoe. Briscoe makes the chase in SHR's last season before it becomes Haas Factory again. Briscoe, he got in the chase at the 11th hour by getting a last-second clutch win at Darlington in the Southern 500. I mean, he's been better than Suarez this year, but he probably has no business being anywhere near the chase. Only in because of the win and in stipulation, which is complete bullshit. But hey, out of the 4 drivers that made the chase this year because of the win and in stipulation, Briscoe's easily probably been the best of the 4. Like, between who the best of those 4 have been, it's between Briscoe and Suarez. I think Briscoe has the edge, though. And, of course, Briscoe next year, he'll be going over to JGR to replace Martin Truex Jr. with Truex retiring at the end of the year. So next year, Chase Briscoe finally gets to go join a real team. And who knows, maybe Briscoe will become a common name in the chase in the future. And maybe with a real team, we'll have actual expectations for Briscoe. I mean, Briscoe's ceiling at the bare most is the second round. I mean, SHR's been pretty dog shit this year, so I think the bar is pretty low. Next up, Harrison Burton. Oh boy, where the fuck did we begin with this crap? It always seems like every single year, there's always that one fucking driver that has absolutely no business being anywhere near the chase, but ends up getting in because he got backed into a fluke win at the right time. This year, it is Harrison Burton who got his first career win at Daytona in the night race, and got the Wood Brothers the 100th career win. Here's the problem with why Harrison Burton doesn't belong in the chase. Look at where he is in points before the reset. He's 34th in points. 34th. Out of all 34 full-time drivers in the Cup Series, he is the worst of the 4. For fuck's sakes, Justin Haley and his Rick Ware shitbox is higher in points than him. Hell, Burton hasn't even had a top 10 on a non-super speedway this year. He's having the worst season of his fucking career. And it's a bad season and Harrison Burton is bad when he's being fired at the end of the year for Josh Berry. And he's going to most likely go down to Xfinity and take Haley Deegan's ride and do absolutely nothing in that 15 car. But maybe do better than Deegan. But with how bad Deegan was, that's not really a high bar to clear. That's a pretty easy bar to clear. But yeah, Harrison Burton has been so god-awful throughout his entire Cup career at the Wood Brothers. Like, it's year 3 of his career, and he's gotten worse in the Cup Series every year. Like, by year 3, we should see some form of improvement. And he has not improved in the slightest. But hey, Harrison gets to make the chase because, hey, he backed into a win at the right time at Daytona, because Daytona's so fucking luck-based and a total crapshoot, and he happened to have the luckiest fucking golden horseshoe there is. Honestly, Harrison Burton is the main reason why everyone fucking really hates the chase format now. And before everybody like Dave, Karen Moody, and everybody in the media talks about, oh, everyone's now criticizing it because Harrison Burton won. Nah, bitch. We've been criticizing this goddamn format for over a decade. You decide now to start fucking listening conveniently when someone 34th in points ends up winning a race. It makes the chase. Like an absolute fucking embarrassment to this format. And for anybody that wants to say that Harrison Burton's better than Matt DiBenedetto because, oh, he got a win in that 21 car while DiBenedetto didn't, please fuck all the way off, you fucking dipshits. DiBenedetto was more consistent in that car. Hell, DiBenedetto's chase appearance in that car in 2020 is more legitimate than this. At least Matt DiBenedetto was able to make the chase in 2020 on points alone. Harrison Burton can't even fucking do that. He has to back into a win at a super speedway. But yeah, the expectations for Burton are low. Like, honestly, I'll say this. Anybody that has Harrison Burton moving past the first round, you're a fucking idiot. No chance that Burton does anything. He doesn't belong. He's just taking a spot away from someone that's more fucking deserving. You know, like a Buescher or a Bubba Wallace or a Ross Chastain or hell, even a Kyle Busch. With how much momentum Kyle Busch has had the last 3 weeks coming into the chase. Next up, we have Ty Gibbs making his first chase appearance. Grandpa, I did it! I made the chase! Yes, Ty, you made the chase finally. And then what? As Ty Gibbs still hasn't won a race yet. I mean, Ty Gibbs has come close on a couple occasions to winning. He's had a couple top 3 finishes. I mean, he came pretty close to winning the sprint race at Darlington, just fell short against Keselowski. You know, he's had some pretty good speed at times, but he's been pretty inconsistent at the same time, you know. I'll say this, Gibbs' season this year, definitely nothing of the sophomore slump. Gibbs actually doing pretty well. I mean, this is just mainly a learning experience for Gibbs, just to learn the format and come back stronger next year. Like, regardless of what Gibbs does, he'll be back here, no doubt. And finally, we have Martin Truex Jr. In his last season, Truex is in the chase. And he's been pretty meaty. And he's been quietly consistent throughout the year. He's had a couple race winning speed on a couple occasions, mainly Richmond. But some bullshit happened that fucked him out of that win. And really, since then, just Truex has been pretty hit or miss. Just pretty hot and cold. Like, moments he's pretty consistent, moments he's inconsistent. Especially the last month or so coming into the chase. He's been pretty god-awful coming in. He's been pretty cold coming into the chase. Just very inconsistent. Like, honestly, just lucky to even be here to make the chase. Just got lucky. But, like, honestly, I don't think the expectations are pretty high for Truex. It's his last year. He just wants to get this over with and go enjoy retirement. But, yeah. Those are the 16 drivers for the chase this year. So now, let's get to our actual chase predictions. Round 1 of the chase, we have Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol. What a first round. Out of these 16 names, which 12 advance to the round of 12? So on the screen here are the 12 names I have advanced, and of course I have the race winners highlighted in yellow. So we'll go through the winners, and I'll go over the drivers I have on points, and then the 4 I have out. So Atlanta, well, it's a super speedway, so I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go with Brian Blaney to win it because it's a safe pick for Atlanta. Like for Atlanta, it's a crapshoot. We can make an argument for anybody to be valid. So I'm just going to be boring and play it safe and take Ryan Blaney for Atlanta. Watkins Glen, I think it's going to be an HMS car that wins Watkins Glen. And I'm going to go with Chase Elliott because, believe it or not, oddly enough, Chase Elliott is the only HMS driver to not win on a road course this year. Because Byron won Coda, Larson won Sonoma, and Alex Bowman won in the streets of Chicago. Chase Elliott has not won on a road course. I think Watkins Glen, Chase Elliott changes that. I mean, Elliott has been pretty good at Watkins Glen. I mean, he dominated that. He dominated Watkins Glen for a couple years until Kyle Larson came to HMS. And then he's just played second fiddle to whichever HMS driver happens to be the hot flavor in the month. And Bristol's a complete wild card because we're not sure what kind of tires coming to Bristol. If we're going to have the same tire we had in the fucking spring, which was just a complete carnage mess. Or if we're going to have a better tire. Or hell, maybe NASCAR brings the 2-tire compound thing we did at Richmond a couple weeks ago to Bristol. I don't know, would NASCAR bring 2-tire compounds to a chase race? That's a real good question, though. But for Bristol, I'm feeling William Byron gets Bristol. I think Byron was playing possum. And I think Byron gets the win. I mean, Byron's been pretty good on the short tracks this year. So I'm going to go with Byron to get the win at Bristol. And he gets the Bristol night race win. And then I got Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Todd Gibbs, and Martin Truex Jr. all advanced into the round of 12 on points. So in terms of the 4 drivers I don't have moving on, I don't have Cindric moving on, I don't have Suarez moving on, I don't have Briscoe, and I don't have Harrison Byrne moving on. I mean, for those 4, we don't have to discuss, and I think it's pretty obvious why I don't have all 4 moving on. They've all been pretty bad and inconsistent all year and have no business really being in the chase. Like, honestly, out of the 4 eliminated, the only one I can see possibly making it to the second round is Chase Briscoe. And that's if, like, Truex or Bowman shit the bed in the first round. But honestly, I think Bowman and Truex have more legitimate cases for the championship than Briscoe. So that's why I have Briscoe out. But the other 3, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory why I have them out. So yeah, these are the 12 names I have advancing to the round of 12. So now, the round of 12, we have Kansas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. Out of those 12, who advances to the round of 8? So, here are the 8 drivers I have advanced into the round of 8, the third round of the chase, aka. So, I'll go through the winners real quick. So, Kansas, I got Kansas going to Christopher Bell. I mean, the fall Kansas race has been a Toyota playground, more specifically 2311. I know a lot of people are probably going to pick Bubba or Reddick because of how much 2311 has dominated the chase race at Kansas. But I think Christopher Bell's going to spoil that party. But he's going to keep Toyota's reign of terror alive at Kansas. So I'm going to say Bell wins Kansas. He's had some pretty good speed on the mile and a half. I think he gets it done at Kansas. Now, if you notice here, I have nobody listed for Talladega. I think for only the second time under this format, I think Talladega will be won by a non-chase driver. Because every year outside of 2021, the chase race at Talladega has been won by a chase driver. The only time it was ever won by a non-chaser under the current format we've had from 2014 to today, the only time it's been won by a non-chaser in that time span was Bubba Wallace in 2021. And then before that, it was Jamie McMurray in 2013. I think that changes this year because we've seen so much parity. We've seen so many winless streaks snapped that I think we're going to see another one fall at Talladega. I mean, for Dega, you could literally throw names on a dartboard and it would be a valid pick for it. So for Dega, I'm just going to be completely random. And I'm going to go with my gut here. And my gut is telling me that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins Talladega. Yeah, I've got Stenhouse winning Dega. Come at me. I really went there. And then for the Charlotte Roval, I'm going to go with Alex Bowman so HMS sweeps the road courses this year. So I got Bowman winning because Bowman needs to get his job security. Plus, Bowman's always been pretty solid at the Roval. And plus, remember, the whole thing about Bowman is he's the track killer. Like, he kills every track he wins at. And all I say to everybody is, how bad do you want the Charlotte Roval gone? For me, this is how bad I want the Roval gone to bring Rockingham back to schedule. Before anybody says anything, no to a second oval Charlotte date. Charlotte doesn't need 2 oval dates. For all the Charlotte Oval fans, you already have the Coke 600. You already got your goddamn weekend. Let somebody else have your weekend. Have their weekend for once, you greedy fucks. God damn it. Like, honestly, either keep the Roval or send the date to Rockingham or North Wilkesboro. At least if you send it to Rockingham or North Wilkesboro, the date stays in North Carolina. But yeah, I got Bowman winning the Roval, and then I got Larson, Reddick, Byron, Blaney, Hamlin, and Keselowski all advancing to the round of 8 on points. So the 4 drivers I don't have moving on. I don't have Chase Elliott moving on. I think for Elliott, just lack of bonus points. Plus, I think something happens to Elliott at Talladega. And I think Elliott's gonna get caught in the big one at Talladega. And that's gonna put him in a must-win situation entering the Roval. And I don't see Elliott stepping up to the plate and battling the adversity. I think the 9 team will fall apart, and I think that Elliott will be a second-round elimination. Next up, I don't have Joey Logano moving on to the second round. What's this? I'm not picking Logano to make the Final Four on an even number year? Holy shit, what a time to be alive. Like, honestly, Logano could easily make it deep in the chase. I mean, he can easily win Atlanta or Talladega, but I'm just not feeling it from Joey. Joey's been very inconsistent all year. And honestly, I feel like if there's a year where Logano doesn't make the Final Four on an even number year, this is the year it happens with how bad he's been. Like, he has been nowhere near the other forms we've seen him on other years he's made the Final Four in even number years. I mean, those other years, Logano was at least a top 5 driver, maybe borderline top 5, at least top 10. Like, but Logano isn't even that. He's struggling to even be a top 15 driver this year. And then the other 2, I don't have Ty Gibbs moving on. I'm just not feeling it from Gibbs in this round. Like I think Gibbs' only way it is if he wins like Kansas or the Roval, and I don't see that happening. Like, just a learning experience for Gibbs, but, some solid experience. And I don't have Truex moving on. I'm not feeling Truex. Just Truex has been pretty bad this year. And I think in the end, Truex's bad luck is going to strike him in the chase in the second round. So I think Truex's final run will end in the second round. So here are the 8 names I have advancing. Now to the round of 8, we got Las Vegas, Homestead, Miami, and Martinsville. Out of these 8, who will advance to the Final Four at Phoenix? AKA, which 4 drivers am I jinxing this year because I never learned my lesson? So here are the 4 drivers I have advanced into Homestead to Phoenix for the Final Four. So Las Vegas, I'm going to go with Kyle Larson to get the season sweep because Larson is a goddamn beast on mile and a half this year. And I honestly, so far throughout the chase, I didn't even have Larson winning a race up to this point. So I think Larson will change that, and he wins Las Vegas, gets the season sweep. Homestead, I think this is the year Tyler Reddick finally wins at Homestead. Like, I'm feeling Reddick at Homestead. It's one of his best tracks. I think it's kind of crazy how Reddick hasn't won there. Like, it's literally the same situation we had when Kyle Larson until Larson finally won at Homestead in 2022. See, I got Reddick winning Homestead, and Reddick makes the Final Four for the first time ever. And Martinsville, I have Denny Hamlin winning Martinsville, and Hamlin makes it back to the Final Four. After Martinsville has been him in the ass the last 2 years, I think Hamlin gets it done this time and makes it to the Final Four. And I have Christopher Bell making the Final Four on points. So, the 4 drivers I don't have moving on. I don't have Alex Bowman moving on into the third round. I mean, Bowman's going to need a win, and I don't see that happening. This is honestly the most Bowman can go is the third round. Next up, I don't have Ryan Blaney moving on to the third round. I just not feeling it out of Blaney. Blaney's only had race-winning speed on 2 occasions, and those were the 2 races he won, where he dominated, and those were Iowa and Pocono. And so, yeah, I'm not really feeling it from Blaney. I don't think Blaney gets it done this year. I think Blaney's only hope is winning Martinsville, and I think Blaney's going to fall short of Martinsville. It's going to be tough to replicate the run he had in the third round 2 years in a row. Next up, I don't have Brad Keselowski moving on to the Final Four. Keselowski's been pretty hit or miss this year. I think Keselowski has enough to make it to the third round on points, but I think that's his ceiling this year. Like, I do not think Keselowski has enough points to make his way into the third round, into the Final Four. And then finally, I don't have William Byron making it into the Final Four. Like, I feel like something's going to happen to Byron at either Vegas or Homestead. I mean, Vegas, he literally had a trash bag get caught in his grill and it put him in a hole back in the spring. And then Homestead, I mean, we only go to Homestead once a year, so it's really tough to tell. But bottom line, I think something happens to Byron at Vegas or Homestead. And I think Byron's going to enter in a must-win situation entering Martinsville. And I don't see Byron getting it done. Like, honestly, out of him and Bell, honestly, I think this round favors Christopher Bell more than it favors than William Byron. So that's why I give Bell the edge over Byron. So yeah, this is my Final Four this year. My Final Four is Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, and Christopher Bell. Larson versus Toyota Final Four. Damn, what a Final Four. So now, out of those four, who do I have winning the championship this year? So this is going to be a pretty interesting Final Four. Usually the drivers that do well at Phoenix in the spring, they tend to struggle a bit in the fall. So, Bell, he won at Phoenix in the spring, but, it's very hard to sweep a season series at Phoenix. Plus, the last 2 years that Bell has made the Final Four, something has happened to him. 2022, it was a lug nut issue on the wheel on the last pit stop. Last year, it was something out of his control with a brake failure, and he never really got a chance to compete for the title. But for Bell, I feel like something happens to Bell again at Phoenix, and it's going to take him out of contention for the championship. I mean, Denny Hamlin has pretty good speed at Phoenix. He's had speed there in the past, but, I think there's going to be a lot on Hamlin's plate that's going to distract him at Phoenix. Like, because not only is Hamlin trying to chase a championship as a driver, he's also going to be chasing a championship as an owner, too, since FYI, Hamlin co-owns Tyler Reddick's car, since Hamlin is a co-owner of 2311, which is the team Reddick drives for. In the end, I think this championship comes down to Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson. Like, those two are pretty good at Phoenix. I think those two will put on a great show if it's between those two for the championship at Phoenix. But in the end, I think it's going to come down. I think my prediction for it is I think Larson will have the lead late at Phoenix, then a late race caution comes out, and we go to the one thing everybody hates now, green-white checkers. And I think Kyle Larson will end up having the shitty luck in green-white checkers. And I think the champion this year takes advantage in this situation and thrives in that chaos. So with all that said, I'm picking Tyler Reddick to win the 2024 Cup Series Championship. I think it's Tyler Reddick's year. I think everything is adding up to Tyler Reddick winning the title this year. Plus, Reddick has experience in the Final Four before since he won back-to-back Xfinity titles in 2018 and 2019. So Reddick can lean on that for experience. But yeah, I think this is Reddick's year. And with Reddick winning the championship, this also means that Denny Hamlin would also finally win a championship as an owner. Still counts, I guess. But yeah. So see, I think Tyler Reddick wins, and I think Denny Hamlin in turn will also complete his Junior Johnson arc, where Junior Johnson could never win a championship as a driver, but was a pretty successful owner once he hung it up. And I think the same thing happens to Hamlin, where Hamlin never gets it done as a driver, but he'll be a successful team owner. Especially now that Michael Jordan is all in on NASCAR and has given up on basketball completely. But yeah, those are my predictions for the chase this year. I think Tyler Reddick will be the 2024 Cup Series champion. It's either him or Larson. It's between him or Larson. But I give the edge to Reddick right now since Reddick has been more consistent than Larson. And I think Reddick is hot at the right time. But yeah, those are my predictions for the 2024 chase. That's all I got to say. Hope everyone's a great day, and I'll see you all whatever I make next. I'm out. Now watch Joey Logano somehow still bullshit his way to the Final Four on an even number year. God help us all if Logano makes the Final Four on an even number year again.